Reading Srimad Bhagavatam 4:29-64. Na anubhutam kvachanena dehana drishtamashrutam kadachit upalabhyeta yad rupam yatra katmane. Na, never. Anubhutam, experience. Kva, at any time. Cha, also. Anena, dehena, by this body. Adrishtam, never seen. Ashrutam, never heard. Kadachit, sometimes. Upalabhyata, may be. Experience. Yat, which. Rupam, form. Yadrak, whatever kind. Atmani, in the mind. Translation: sometimes we suddenly experience something that was never experienced in the present body, by sight or by hearing. Sometimes we see such things suddenly in dreams. Can we respond? Sometimes we suddenly experience something that was never experienced in the present body, by sight or hearing. Sometimes we see such thing suddenly in dreams. Purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. In dreams we sometimes see things that we have never experienced in the present body. Sometimes in dreams we think that we are flying in the sky, although we have no experience of flying. This means that once in a previous life, either as a demigod or an astronaut, we flew in the sky. The impression is there in the stockpile of the mind, and it suddenly expresses itself. It is like fermentation taking place in the depths of the water, which sometimes manifests itself in bubbles on the water's surface. Sometimes we dream of coming to a place we have never known or experienced in this lifetime. But this is proof that in the past life we have experienced this. The impression is that the impression is kept within the mind and sometimes become manifest, either in a dream or in thought. The conclusion is that the mind is the storehouse of various thoughts and experiences undergone during our past lives. Thus there is a change or continuation from one life to another, from previous life to this life, and from this life to future life. This is also sometimes proved by saying that a man is born poet, born scientist, and born devotee. If, like Maharaj Ambarish, we think of Krishna constantly in this life, Savai Manaha, Krishna Padara Vindo, we will certainly be transferred to the kingdom of God at the time of death. Even if our attempt to be Krishna conscious is not complete, our Krishna consciousness will continue in the next life. This is confirmed in the Bhagavad Gita 6:41. Prapya punya kritam lokan utsitva sasvatihi samaha Shuchinam Srimantam Gehe Yoga Brashto Vijayate. The unsuccessful yogi, after many years of enjoyment in the planets of the pious living entities, is born into a family of righteous people or into a family of rich aristocracy. If we rigidly follow the principles of meditation on Krishna, there is no doubt that in our next life we will be transferred to Krishna Loka, Goloka Vrindavan. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Gyananam Gyanashulakaya Chakshuzan Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Satpitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Gadamam Didati Swaparandikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yutabada Kamalam Shri Gurum Vaishnavam Cha Shri Rupam Sakajatam Sahagana Raghunatam Vitam Tam Sajivam Shadvitam Shavadutam Parjanam Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishaganvitam Vishya He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopisha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchna Gorangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Shavano Sutta Devi Pranamami Hare Priye Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhuvevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Namaram Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Srimati Bhakti Vedanta Samiti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pacharine Nirvishesha Sunyavadi Paschatya Desatarine Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shiva Shri Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So this is reading Srimad Bhagavatam 429-65. This is in continuation of the question that was raised by King Prachinabhai. He was asking this question that how do we know that our present body is finished, that the next life, or like for now this life, we had carried forward all kind of a karma. That was the question, wasn't it? Yes? So Narada Muni is elaborating this point. Now he is saying more conclusively that actually you have experienced some things in this life that you have never been through. Right? Prabhupada is giving the example like flying in the sky, and you never flew. How is it that you are flying? Right? Or many times he gives the example of seeing gold and golden mountain. I think that analogy has used various times. So this is that we have seen gold and we've seen mountain, and because in the dream it correlates and we see a golden mountain. You understand? So our impressions, whatever we are seeing, it is, stays in our mind as strong impressions. So this is to show that there is continuation of your life. It is not that once it's finished, as everything is finished. This philosophy is not very sound, right? If everything is finished at death, then how you are getting this kind of realization? Where it is coming from? In this life, in Singapore, what mountain you see? What mountain? And then you are dreaming about mountain. How is it possible? Correct? I mean, in some life you have been, not this Bukit Timah hill. That is not a mountain, it is, understand? It is massive. I don't know how many of you been to the Himalayas? Nobody. You've been to the Himalayas. You flew over or you went there? You flew to Kathmandu. Oh. I was there one time. I was going to Badrinath, and actually I was so impressed. The bus was going in the evening, it was already the sun was setting, and the sun was shining onto the mountain, was snow capped, and because of the shining of the sun, the whole mountain was glittering in golden, effulgence. I was very much mesmerized, and the mountain is massive. It is massive, means it is massive, and our tiny little bus was going on this road. That kept me, it's still an impression. So these mountains are huge, it's not something small. So to have that impression and it placed back in our memory means that we have been through that situation some point in our lives, whether this life or previous lives or previous lives. So it stays in our memory. So the point is this, that all these impressions are staying inside, and it is propelling us to different desires to carry on again the next life. In other words, the gross body may be finished, but the subtle body is always going on. It is always. You cannot say that, so everything is finished. When I die, I get a new mind and I get a new intelligence. Intelligence is something that you acquire, but the mind, intelligence and false ego, if you keep them in a material consciousness, then you carry with you all those desires, mainly to the next body. As we read, this chapter 11, text 22, the soul follows the mind. I showed you the verse, 11:22 what? What is it? Huh? 11:22:37, huh? See here in this verse, Sri Bhagavan Uvacha, Manaha karma mayam nirnam indrihe panchibir yutam loka lokam priyati anye atma tat anuvartate. So this Lord Krishna said, the material mind of man is shaped by the reaction of fruitive work. Along with the five senses, it travels from one material body to another. The spirit soul, although different from this mind, follows it. You see that? The mind of man is shaped by the reaction of fruitive work. That's why getting involved with karma is very, very dangerous. You understand? This is why it says that you get into this karma kanda thing is so risky, because it influences the mind. Understand? It contaminates the mind actually. Yeah. And the soul follows it. That's why the mind, that's why Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita that the mind is the principal thing that governs the transmigration of the soul. Understand? Many places in the Gita he said, correct? Yes? Yeah, no? Actually, this whole subject is very nicely explained in this verses, Prabhupada gave a class on these verses. These 5 verses. Panchabhi kurute swartan, pancha devartha panchabhihi, ekastu sodasena tran, swayam saptadasoshnute. Above the 5 senses of perception, the 5 working senses and the 5 objects of the senses, the mind, which is the 16th element. Above the mind is the 17th element, the soul, the living being himself, who in cooperation with the other 16 enjoys the material world alone. The living being enjoys 3 kinds of situation, namely happy, distressful and mixed. You understand? This is how the mind is putting the soul into, right? That we read in the previous verse, correct? Did we not read the previous verse? What we read in the previous verse? Huh? The senses, correct? The mind activates the senses, yes? Is it not? And here, all the elements, put the mind. Mind gets into action with some intelligence, material intelligence and false ego. These things make the condition of the soul to go through a happy situation, distressful situation and mixed. What do you mean by happy, distressful and mixed? More explained here. The subtle body is endowed with 16 parts. The subtle body has got 16 parts. 5 knowledge acquiring senses, 5 working senses and 5 objects of sense gratification and the mind. You know what is this 5 knowledge acquiring senses, right? 5 knowledge acquiring senses are the eyes. No, the knowledge acquiring senses. Eyes is the sense. Eyes is sense organ. They 5 working senses, 5 objects of. So knowledge acquiring the eyes, the ears, the tongue, the skin, touch. And then you have the 5 working senses. What are the 5 working senses? Hand, leg, genitals, anus and the mouth. And then you have the 5 objects of sense gratification. What is that? For the eyes is sight, for the nose is smell, for the tongue is taste. Ear is the sound. So these are 5. What? Skin is touch. So the subtle body is an effect of the 3 modes of material nature. It is composed of insurmountable strong desires, and therefore it causes the living entity to transmigrate from one body to another. See the point here, we are talking about this transmigration from one body to another. Yes? So how does it? It is composed of insurmountable strong desires. So a person goes into the 3 modes of material nature. That's why Arjuna asked the question to Krishna, what is compelling a person to do something, although he don't want to do, he is forced to do. Yes? Yes? That was the question. Right? So you see, because of the 3 modes of, it is also explained in 3.5, the verse, Bhagavad Gita 3.5. He is forced to act by the three modes of. I don't want to go to that because I have to flip back and forward again. So he has to. You can see in your file. Yes, have you got it? Can you read it? Read loud.
Everyone is forced to act helplessly according to the Everyone is forced to act helplessly according to the qualities he has acquired from the modes of material nature. Therefore, no one can refrain from doing something not even for a moment.
Everyone is forced to act. Yes? Understand this point. When you say you are forced to act means what? Just now we read the soul is forced to follow the mind. Here it is forced to accept by the conditioning of the three modes of material nature. You understand? This is a science, we are talking about a science, how things all fit in. So according to that desires, therefore it occurs the living entity to transmigrate from one body to another in human life, animal life, life as a demigod. So these are three situations. That means you get promoted up, or you go down to hell, right? Or you stay as human. The three situations are there. If you go up, as you say, when the living entity gets the body of a demigod, he is certainly very jubilant, and when he gets a human body, he is always in lamentation, which is against the fact. Human beings are always griping. Yeah. And when he gets the body of an animal, he is always afraid. You see the animals? Always in fear. In all conditions, however, is actually miserable. Either in the demigod platform or human platform or animal platform, is miserable. His miserable condition is called samsriti or transmigration in material life. You understand? It is not that, you get promoted to the body of a demigod, you are very blissful. Even in demigod body also you are not happy, because why? There is constant rivalry there. There is constant rivalry. Someone is better, someone is, higher demigod, lower demigod. They don't like each other, envious. Because material qualities cannot make you happy. This is explained. Miserable condition is called samsriti. What is the samsriti? What is the meaning of samsriti? Transmigration. Or transmigration in material life. Right? This next verse, the foolish embodied living entity, inapt at controlling his senses and mind, is forced to act according to the influence of modes of material nature, against his desires. See that? This is what you read just now, exactly. Yes? This whole line is exactly the same. He is like a silkworm that uses his own saliva to create a cocoon and then become trapped in it, with no possibility of getting out. The living entity traps himself in a network of his own fruitive activities and then can find no way to release himself. Thus he always bewildered and repeatedly he dies. Right? The situation is created by himself. It is not that, you understand, by the desire, he is creating this whole situation where he gets trapped inside. And because he is desiring material, another desire, correct? So because he is having that desire, he has to take another body. You follow this point? Jai Sri Radha Madhuri. So the living entity, silkworm has its own silk saliva to create a cocoon and become trapped in it with no possibility of getting out. So that's another thing Krishna also said in the Bhagavad Gita, correct? Karma bandha. Where is that? Huh? You know, but the others. 3, 9. Yajnanartha karma nayatra, loka karma bandha. So if you don't, perform your work for Krishna, then the solution is that you get bonded. And bonding means what? It's not that you can come out, it's not possible to come out. As the example is given like quicksand, the more you struggle, the more you go inside. Or water also the same. You struggle in the water, you drown. You understand? But if you don't struggle, you just try to lie flat, then you can come out. Automatically you get float. But people panic, they are bewildered, struggle. Correct? Yes or not? It is nicely also said by Prahlad Maharaj, right, in that verse. What is that verse? Asha bandha. What is that? Te pisi tantra urudhami badaha. What is the number? 7? 7531. We'll come back to this. So here you see here, as also explained, the same point. Same here. Durasha, Vairyattamanina. Persons who are strongly entrapped by the consciousness of enjoying material life and who have therefore accepted their leader or guru, a similar blind man attached to external sense object, cannot understand that the goal of life is to return home back to Godhead and engage in the service of Lord Vishnu. As a blind man guided by another blind man miss the right path and fall into a ditch, materially attached man led by another materially attached man are bound by the ropes of fruitive labor, which are made of very strong cords, and they continue again and again in materialistic life, suffering the threefold miseries. That's a strong material desire. Durashaha Bahirarthamanina. Durasha means hope against hope, They want to, what? You see, they are always planking plans. If they are to put into some distress, they don't think, no, I'm hoping this will work. Correct? Or that will work. So in this way they carry on dreaming. This is the material life. So you get trapped and there's no way he can release himself. That's a fact. Once you're caught in this material world, there's no way you can release yourself. It's not possible. Devi Esha Gunamaya, Mama Maya cannot come out of my Maya. It's not possible. Unless you surrender. Right? See, this verse here is again explaining this point further. Not a single living entity can remain unengaged even for a moment. One must act by his natural tendency according to the three modes of material nature, because this natural tendency forcefully makes him work in a particular way. There is no such thing as you are free. Is any free? Are you free? This is the illusion. You're never free. You are what? Conditioned or forced. If you are put in the mode of goodness, you act accordingly. If you are put in the mode of passion, you act accordingly. And in mode of ignorance, you act accordingly. So you are forced. This is the word here. Forcefully makes him work in a particular way. All these three verses we are reading is just force and more force. Correct? Understand? And you see today the verse, is there such a thing as reincarnation? For you to educate him, Krishna is so kind that he comes in the dream and tells him about all these what? Things that he never experienced. You follow? So if a person is intelligent, yes, I have been through this so many times. I am stuck. You understand this point? To get him to realize. That's why it says further, that's why the fool, a fool won't believe all these things. That's why it says in Bhagavad Gita, a fool cannot understand this thing. Yes? Mudo na bijananti. A fool cannot. Fruitive activities, a living being performed, whether pious or impious, are the unseen cause for the fulfillment of his desires. So this point here again. Fruitive activities, a living being performed, either whether pious or impious, are the unseen cause for the fulfillment of his desires. You understand? This unseen cause is the root for the living entity's different bodies. Again, because of his intense desire, the living entity takes birth in a particular family and receives a body which is either like that of his mother or like that of the father. The gross and subtle bodies are created according to his desires. This is also explained in 15:9, right? Bhagavad Gita? Yes? Is it not? Yeah? You read 15:9? According to the mother, he gets the body, correct? Yes? Yes or no? Huh? Read loudly.
The living entity thus taking another gross body obtains a certain type of ear, eyes, tongue, nose and sense of touch, which are grouped above the mind. He thus enjoys a particular set of sense objects.
Right? Yes? 15:9. But it says the mother there, no? 15:10. According to the
particular set of eye, ear, nose that are grouped above the mind.
oh, I think in the purport, I think. What about 15:10? What it says?
Police cannot understand how a living entity can quit his body, nor can they understand what sort of body he enjoys under the spell of the most of nature. But one whose eyes are trained in knowledge can see all this.
15:8.
Living entity in the material world carries different conceptions of life from one body to another, as the air carries aromas. Thus he takes one kind of body and again quits it to take another.
So here you can see, according to the parent's body, he gets to fulfill again his desires. But mainly the sum and substance of this is the desires, which is the cause of all this entanglement. Yes? And that's what moving the mind. Correct? And when the mind is focusing on something, as we showed the verse, what is that verse? 11:9:22 or 11:9:21? Eh? If out of love, hate or fear, this is a very interesting point here. We're just talking about desires, 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 desires. Huh? Yes? So the desires are associated with the three aspects. What is that? Love, hate or fear. This is the subject of creating that desires. An embodied soul fixes mind with intelligent and complete concentration on a particular bodily form. He will certainly attain that form that he is meditating upon. This is why these desires are coming out, because of love, hate and fear. You hate somebody, you are thinking day and night, correct? Right? If you love somebody, lust is going on, yes. And if you fear someone, you are completely intimidated, yes. Huh? You see the mind, how dangerous it is, correct? So the solution, as explained here, the solution is this. Since the human being, since the living entity is associated with material nature, is in an awkward position. But if in the human form of life is taught how to associate with the Supreme Personality of Godhead or his devotee, this position can be overcome. That's the solution. This is the what? Right? That also there's a verse, What is that? The subtle body can be dissolved by devotional service. 3:25 what? Huh? You know the verse? 3:25. Two line verse. Huh? You know? The subtle body, which is the problem here, can be only be dissolved by performing devotional. What is that number? 36. 33. Yes. It's amazing sloka because it's only 2 lines. Usually lines are 4 line slokas, but here see, Jarati asuya kosham nigrinam analo yata. Bhakti, devotional service dissolve the subtle body of the living entity without separate effort. Just as fire in the stomach digests all that we eat. So this is the clue. Devotional service dissolves the subtle body of the living entity without separate effort. Just as fire in the stomach digests all that we eat. Correct? That's why you see in the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna stress that you please engage your mind in thinking of me. Yes? Correct? Say you, what is that? Man mana bhava mat bhakta, correct? Yes or not? So the mind has to become purified by thinking of only by devotional service you can come to me, only if you associate with me. Think of me, become my devotee. I promise you this because you are my friend. Yes? See how much this thing is stressed. Give up everything and just surrender to me. I will deliver you. Yes? Sarvadharma Parityaya. Yes? Correct? So the only means of dissolving this repeated cycle of birth and death is by taking shelter of Krishna. In fact, we have read in 3:25:40, there is no other way you can escape the cycle of birth and death unless you surrender to. Correct? Yes or not? Also here, it's stated here, and this verse, Satanam, this word, Achokshaja alambam iha subhatmanaha saririna samsriti, again this word samsriti, chakra, samsriti means transmigrate, chakra means satanam, this word satanam, very important. Tat brahma nirvanam shukam vidu buddhas tato bhajatvam hridaye hrit ishwaram. See the word satanam, the word here, satanam. Completely stopping, right? So here the translation, the real problem of life is the repetition of birth and death. The real problem of life is the repetition of birth and death, which is like a wheel rolling repeatedly up and down. This wheel, however, completely stops. This wheel what? Completely stops when one is in touch with the Supreme Personality of Godhead. You understand this point? Are you understanding? This wheel of transmigration that we are talking about will be completely what? Eradicated, stopped. When one is in touch with the Supreme Personality of Godhead. In other words, by the transcendental bliss realized from constant engagement in devotional service, one is completely liberated from material existence. All learned men know this. Therefore, my dear friends, O sons of Asura, immediately begin meditating upon and worshipping the Super Soul within everyone's heart. See this point? There. So this is what actually the sum and substance of human life. As you see in the Bhagavad Gita, again if we go back to the Bhagavad Gita, you see that in this verse, and this place here, it is this now we read that verse 7:531. Bairartha, running after external sense pleasure. That's what we are all doing. I want this, I want that, I need this, I need that. This is all constantly because it's external. So here in the Bhagavad Gita this says, an intelligent person does not take part in sources of misery. Where does this misery come from? Which are due to contact with material senses. O son of Kunti, such pleasure have a beginning and end, and so the wise man does not delight in them. Just before this verse, you see what Krishna is saying. Such a liberated person is not attracted to material sense pleasure, but always in trance, enjoying the pleasure within. In this way, the self-realized person enjoys unlimited happiness, for he concentrates on the Supreme within. Ramante yoginam ante. What? Huh? Is that verse here? I think the next verse. 22, I think. That's now we went to know. You see? Yeah. Ramante yoginam ante. Satyananda chidatmani iti Rama padaneya sao param brahma abhidiyate. See this? The mystic derive unlimited transcendental pleasure from the absolute truth, and therefore the supreme absolute truth, the personality of Godhead, is known as Rama. So this is the it's not that it is something that, beyond our reach. The Lord is sitting inside. Where? In our hearts. You understand? Yeah? This point also is mentioned in 7:13. You can go to 7:13, find that verse. The deer is running outside looking for water. Huh? Can you show me that verse? 7:13. Can see that the same point is running everywhere looking water, but actually it is inside. Huh? 7:15, 7:13, 29. Huh? See? So here the same point is explained. This is explained by who? Jada Bharata. Just as a deer, because of ignorance, cannot see the water within a well covered by grass, but runs after water elsewhere, the living entity covered by material body does not see the happiness within himself, but runs after happiness in the material world. See this point again? So it is within us. It is what? The Lord is there. You follow this point? Yeah? You understand this? Again, the same thing is again repeated here. Again, this same thing is repeated here. O friends, O my friends, sons of Asura, the Supreme Personality of Godhead in His Super Soul feature always exists within the cause of the hearts of all living entities. Indeed, He is the well-wisher and friend of all living entities, and there is no difficulty in worshipping Him, worshipping the Lord, no difficulty. Why then people should engage in His, why then people not engage in devotional service? Why are they so addicted to unnecessarily producing artificial paraphernalia for sense gratification? So much work, You see, in the morning to night you are running, correct? Well, you are supporting this what? Artificial sense gratification. Is it not? Yes? Is it not? No? Yes? Yeah? See? Prahlad Maharaj is making the point, why you, it is inside you. Is what? Get connected inside, it's so easy. How to do that? Huh? How to do? Cannot do. How to do? Chanting. The moment you chant, correct? Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, yesterday class was that. You will quickly see the lotus feet of the. And when you meditate on the lotus feet, I show that verse, 11:340, so many times I am showing that verse. This is correlates, Moment you see the Lord lotus feet, you capture the Lord lotus feet in the heart, then all this fruitive activity, desire, everything gets nullified, finished. Yeah, you see. So it is all works together, Yes, I will show you this verse. Many times we have come to this verse. Yes. Krishna Re Charan. What is this Krishna Charan? What is this Krishna Re Charan? Huh? What is the Charan? Huh? Simply by chanting the holy name of Krishna, one can obtain freedom from material existence. And that simply by chanting Hare Krishna mantra, one be able to see the lotus feet of the Lord. Lord Shiva is meditating on the lotus feet. Lord Brahma is meditating on the lotus feet. All the demigods are meditating on his lotus feet. Why? Because the lotus feet of the Lord is so transcendental that he can stop the material existence. Yes? I have shown this verse a million times now. Yes? When one seriously engage in devotional service of the personality of Godhead, fixing the Lord's lotus feet within one heart, as the only goal of life, one can destroy innumerable impure desires lodged within the heart as a result of one's previous fruitive work within the three modes of material nature. See that point here? In other words, the bondage to our material shackle is what? Loosened, purified. When the heart is thus purified, one can directly perceive both the Supreme Lord and oneself as transcendental entities. Thus one becomes perfect in spiritual understanding through direct experience, just as one can directly experience the sunshine through normal healthy vision. Again, comparative thing is given. Just like you go out, you can feel the sun. Yes? Same way. The moment you connect, you will actually feel the Lord. And you get unlimited happiness. You get? This is done. This can only be done by one way. You cannot do this in any other way. The only way is this way. This is the only way you can get this done. Having obtained the mercy of the spiritual master who reveals to the disciple the injunctions of Vedic scripture, the devotee should worship the Supreme Personality of Godhead and a particular personal form of the Lord that the devotee finds most attractive. Yes? The devotee finds most attractive is not you speculate, Please try to understand. First you need the spiritual master. And when you serve the spiritual master, then the spiritual master reveals this form to you. Just like here, our whole sampradaya is worshipping who? Varaha. Who? Who? Ours is worshipping Radha and Krishna. Correct? It's not that we speculate on some, no. Given by the, that's why Prabhupada said in the Bhagavad Gita also, chapter 18, text 65, that one should worship the form that the Lord revealed to Arjuna. Yes? What did he reveal? Which form did he reveal? The two-handed form. You understand? Not that you speculate, oh Prabhu, I like this, and then after a few months, I like that. It is not. This is revealed. This is what? Revealed. So this is how deity worship is so important. Deity worship is, I gave a class last week, I think, very, very important. Because without the form, there's no way we can get our mind fixed up. That's not possible. That's why the impersonalists, they cannot make it. They can try and try. That's why I say, even they climb to the highest rung of yoga, because they are not catching the lotus feet of the Lord, which verse is that? Which verse is that? Don't say. Which verse is that? Krishna, no Pantastu Koti, come on, that's completely different. Which verse is this? Cut and paste, huh? Criticize us, cutting and pasting. Which is what? Quoted many times by Prabhupada. Many times this verse. E anye arvindakshe vimukta manina. 10 to 32. 10 to 32. Always can go to the highest rung, but because they have not caught hold of the lotus feet of the Lord, they patanti adaha, they fall down. You understand this? In other words, we have to capture the lotus feet of the Lord. Then we will be purified of all materialistic desires. And Prabhupada said in today's verse, they keep popping up, Today he gives the example, just like in the water, the bubbles come up, right? You are peacefully chanting, suddenly some crazy thing comes. Is it not? Yes or no? Why is it coming? Because desire is in the heart. You follow? Suddenly it comes up and crazy thing. Your mind gets completely diverted and all kind of crazy thing happens. So to clean up these things, we need to constantly meditate on and it's easily done by hearing the holy name. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare. There's no other way. Okay? You can try. You can go and sit down and meditate. You can do all your gymnastics. If you can make it, fine. But the conclusion is that you cannot make it. You what? You cannot make it. You follow? Not possible. Meditation is not possible in this yuga. It is not? Yes? You understand? So you see how everything correlates. I have explained this, yes? Correct? And don't think you cannot stop. I just showed the verse 7:38:7, correct? It will completely stop. It will what? And Krishna also said, I promise you, you are going back. You are what? Going back. You understand? It is not some myth, maybe, could be. No. You are going back to Godhead. Period. Because the moment you come in contact with Krishna, your repeated birth samsriti chakra is what? Satanam. Stopped. You understand this point? You understand? Spoken by Prahlad Maharaj. Finish. Material life is finished. The only thing that we have to seriously practice, right? So every day doing, as I quoted the verse, 1:18:4, right? Right? This verse. I've quoted this verse, right? This is so because those who have dedicated their life to the transcendental topics of the personality of Godhead, of whom the Vedic hymns sing, and who are constantly engaged in remembering the lotus, again, constantly remembering the, what is that again? Lotus feet of the Lord. Do not run the risk, see there, do not run the risk of having misconception even at the last moment of their lives. Is that the point is? Guaranteed. You what? Guaranteed. If you follow this program, you are guaranteed to go home back to God. This is here. Do not run the risk of having misconception. You understand? The purport Prabhupada said the common man cannot do that. You see here in the purport. For a common man, it is very difficult to remember things as they are at the time of death. Is that the point here? It's not possible. You cannot escape Krishna's Maya other way. Yes? Yes? Understand this? So you see how I have to chant very, very what? Huh? What is that word? Mamcha vyabacharena bhakti yogena seva. Without what? Abhyacharena and vyacharena. You know, I think you're coming from abhya, it means not adulterated and fixed up. Without what? Any impurities. Fixed. Unfailing, Prabhupada translated. Unfailing, no failing. Fixed up. That's why if you go and remember the lotus feet of the Lord, the mind is so strong. You understand? The mind is not some lightweights. To purify the mind, constant practice is required. You understand? Constant practice is required. And that's why it says, the mind will run, correct? Yes? So to capture the mind, what is the cause? Or what is the source? What is the solution? What's the solution? The solution is given here. This is the solution. This is the solution here. Here, this is the solution. Nama aparada yuktanam namani eva ranti agam avishranti prayuktani tani eva artha karmani cha karani cha, sorry. Even in the beginning one chants the Hare Krishna mantra with offenses, one will become free from such offense by chanting again and again. By chanting what? Again and again. Papa chayacha bhavati smarantam tam ahanesham. One becomes free from all sinful reaction if he chants day and night. Following the recommendation of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, whereas Chaitanya Mahaprabhu quoted the following verse: Harinam, Harinam, Harinam eva kevalam kalau nasteva 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 gatiranyata. That means in order to free ourselves from this drifting of our mind, the solution is what? Huh? More chanting. Correct? Chanting more rounds. This way you will be able to overcome this difficulty. Yes? Does it explain these points? Otherwise, you're going to get more and more dreams, flying here and flying there. You're going to be flying out. Yes? Any questions on this verse? Yet clear? Is it clear? Yeah? So the only way to capture the incorrigible mind is to keep chanting more and chanting more. All right. Anybody has any questions? Anything? My mind is what? Connected. Why my mind is not connected? Garden is blocking. Anyway, the class is over. First you have to get a guru. If you want to intensely practice this, you must have a what? Without guru it is not possible. You cannot control your mind, that's the verse, 5, 11, 17, correct? Without have the guru, you cannot capture your mind, it's not possible. So I recommended that you take initiation. Yes? Otherwise it will not work. Beginning, initiation is what? Beginning to control the mind. Now they take initiation, tomorrow you what? Wow, you're having Radha Krishna Leela and you're swimming around and dancing. Please, it is the beginning. Understand? Don't think the spiritual life is some kind of joke, What? Actually, you cannot understand this thing until you take a guru. Only when you have a guru, only many things become very clear. Yes? Yes or no?
People who have guru and still, even Prabhupada has guru, but still they don't understand things.
Prabhupada as a guru?
No, people have, you say guru, once you have, then you understand. People have even accept Prabhupada as guru, still they don't understand.
No, but that you have to go according to Prabhupada instruction or associating with devotees, no? Once you take initiation with Prabhupada, doesn't mean that now, I am with Prabhupada and just yes. You need to associate with devotees, like-minded devotees. Well, association is very important. You don't associate, you think you will learn all these things? Yeah?
So if I'm a devotee who is envious, then should I associate with like-minded envious devotees?
Should you? What they say in English is what keeps company? What is the word? Yeah.
No, but like-minded, we should.
Actually, it is a fact. If you are envious, you will meet some envious people. If you are envious and you meet someone who is correcting you, you won't like him. Automatically, you will not go, I don't like this guy. He's not thinking the way I'm thinking. So you want somebody who thinks the way you think, And clap hands with whatever you say. Correct? Merriment, keeps company or something like that. Misery?
One skip.
So therefore we have to take good association. Yes? Hmm?
Regarding the dreams, dreams. Regarding dreams, that some people they make money out of that. They say they interpret your dreams, they give you more, those hard body mind, kind of very subtle, they're doing subtle things.
And continue your material life like this.
Cheating the people, just giving dream and then people make money and
I showed that verse, no? Correct? I have to go back, right? How do you go back? Oh, yes. I showed this verse, no? I showed this verse, remember? A materialistic so-called guru instructs his materialistic disciples about economic development. Correct? This dream therapy. Yeah? And sense about economic development and sense gratification. This is how the number theory and what? All kind of, Why? So I can improve my material condition. Yes? And because of such instruction, the foolish disciples continue in material existence of ignorance. But your Lordship gives knowledge that is eternal. An intelligent person receiving such knowledge is quickly situated in the original constitutional position. This verse is so, I think, relevant for all crazy guys. Huh? Huh?
Business yoga.
Yes. All crazy guys. This sloka is, see? And they say we what? We cut and paste. What? How much dynamic this verse is? It's revealing. Krishna is revealing. You understand? How Krishna is revealing? How many times we read the Bhagavatam, but suddenly we are seeing this verse? How is it possible? You understand? I was thinking, what is this? 8 Canto 24, what is this? Bhagavatam. I went through it again. Because 8:24, I was saying that about the fish, It's about the, what that? Matsya Avatar, no? Then I was saying that verse, I was saying that the fish body, it says in that verse, the fish body, is living in constant pain. You can take out that verse. 8:24. Huh? 8:24:2. I was mesmerized by this, because the fish body, say you become a fish, very nice, swim around, Huh? See here? The form of a fish is certainly condemned and is full of terrible pain. Right? Fish body completely what? Painful. I was, then of course then I read on. I saw these 2 verses. Because I was also looking for this verse, that why the Lord is in the heart, why others cannot see it, because we say, because you're not a pure devotee, you cannot see, only pure devotees can see, because the fact, we quote the verse 6:29, 6:30, self-realized soul see the Lord inside the heart of, huh? But this verse explains this. Just now we quoted this verse. There is verse here. It is spot on, This is the next verse, you see. I was kind of looking for this verse to strengthen our stand on this point. There is, my Lord, you are the supreme well-wishing friend of everyone, the dearmost friend, the controller, the super soul, the supreme instructor, and the giver of supreme knowledge and fulfillment of all desires. But although, this is the line, but although you are within the heart, the foolish, because of lusty desires in the heart, cannot understand you. Of course, we always quote 10:87:39, the renounced, order person, because of sense gratification, not fully purified of material desires, cannot see. So then they will argue, but that is for renounced person. Yeah? But here it shows very clearly, because of lusty desires, he cannot understand the Lord. That's why we also have, that verse, adaushada, bhajana kriya. What is that? Anartha nirvritti. Unless in the heart we clean all these lusty desires, it's not possible for us to understand the Lord. And of course, I was mesmerized by this verse that I saw, because we are talking about business yoga and so many nonsense, The guy was talking about this business yoga, So I was reading this verse and it is spot on. Yes? A materialistic so-called guru, is that? Finish. His business yoga is finished. Correct? How Krishna is, and these all are there in the Bhagavatam. Yeah? Correct? And they are giving all kind of analogy, you have to attract people, until they come inside, then we'll teach them about the real yoga. First we bring them on business yoga, all kind of nonsense analogies. If you try to teach people like this, then the foolish disciple will continue in his material existence of ignorance. You follow this point? That's what's going on. That's what? Oh no, he taught me how to make money, business yoga. He was giving examples. See, Arjuna dropped his bow. That means you cannot drop your goal, It's nonsense. Arjuna dropped his bow because he didn't want to listen to the Lord. Then he picked it up. Correct? Why did he pick it up? Because he said, now I am prepared to listen to your instruction, not some business yoga instruction. Nonsense. See how you understand? That's why you need a guru who is what? What is it? Guru? The guru. We need a guru like this. What is that? We need a guru like this, not some crazy guys. Mahabhagavata Shreshto Brahmano Vai Guru Nirnam. This is what? Mahabhagavato Shreshto Brahmano Vai Guru Nirnam. Sarvesam eva lokanam asa pujayataha hari Mahakula prashutopi sarva yagyesu dikshitaha sahasra sakhadhyayayicha na guru syat avaishnavaha. The guru must be situated on the topmost platform of devotional service. There are three classes of devotees and the guru must be accepted from the topmost class. The first class devotee is the spiritual master of all kinds of people. In this word, Guru Nirnam, the word Nirnam means of all human beings. A guru is not limited to a particular group. It is stated in the Upadesamrita by Rupa Goswami that a guru is a Goswami, a controller of the senses and the mind. Such a guru can accept disciples all over the world. Pritivimsa Sishyat. You see this point? A guru must be coming from where? Topmost platform. This is the problem. They don't study. They don't what? Don't study. Yes? If a guru falls short of teaching you how to improve your material condition of life, then he's a rascal. He's a rascal. That's all. You understand? Alright, anything else? Finish, huh? We'll stop here then. Thank you very much. Time is